Hey everyone, Desiree here. So in this video, I am going to do a voiceover of a recent visit to the Salvation Army. Now this is one of my favorite thrift stores that I go to every week, and I always find something, but lately it's been kind of slim pickings. I don't know if, maybe there's just more resellers and so they're getting all the good stuff before I get there, but I haven't really been finding too much on my recent thrifting trips. So today I started out in the purses like I usually do, and I did get a question. Someone had asked, how do I know what a good purse is, or how do I know if something is real leather? And I'm going to say that it just kind of takes practice and it takes time. And if you like handbags and purses like I do, you already kind of have a basic knowledge of the brands. Now, right here, I saw that this was a Brighton purse. Now, Brighton can be a good seller depending on the make and the style of the bag. I was looking this one over and it was in okay condition. I think they wanted $15.99, which is not a bad price. It looks like it's pretty clean, which is another thing that I always check for when it comes to purses. But I really like the bags to have their shape, and you can see there's some wear here on the corners, and that is definitely not something that I think, is worth picking up. I like my bags to be in really, really good condition with just maybe minor or light wear. So yeah, I didn't find anything on this trip, at least not in the purses. So now I am over in the glassware section, and this section sometimes, like I've said in other videos, it can be real hit or miss. I have found some great stuff here, and then there's days where I don't really find anything. Now, I thought this glass was pretty unique, but there's only one. And if I am going to buy glassware, it usually has to be a set, and it has to be something pretty remarkable because for the hassle and the time it takes to pack glassware to ship, it really has to be worth it. So that's something that you really have to think about. When you're out thrifting, you're like, is this going to be worth the time it's going to take me to package it up? Along with all the shipping supplies, the bubble wrap, the packing peanuts, and all that stuff. Now, they do have a really nice mug section here at Salvation Army. I saw this little polar bear. I don't know why he was there, but they do have a lot of nice mugs, and I have found mugs from time to time over here that have sold pretty well. But right now, I'm really not picking up mugs, but I always look just to see. Maybe I'll find that $100 Starbucks mug or something like that. But in general, I'm just not picking up mugs right now because I do have a few in my store that still have not sold. Now look at the pattern on this plate. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. There's something about it that looked kind of like shabby chic, I guess. There was just something about it that I really liked. Now this is the dishes section, and again, I'm really not into picking up dishes right now because I'm trying to streamline my store and not have so many heavy, bulky, breakable items. But I do always look because sometimes I find something that I can use myself or something that I can sell locally on Facebook Marketplace. I really like this pot. I think it's one of those new ceramic ware pots, but it did have a lot of scratches in the bottom. Now I do always look at trays just because I personally love trays. I have so many of them in my home. That one looked kind of beat up, so I put it back. And now I'm just looking at the random things that they have on the shelves. Now, the other thing is, even though there's a lot of stuff on the shelves, it doesn't mean that all of this stuff is something that you can flip or something that's in high demand. So you have to be really picky. Now, I did really like this vase. I thought it was really unique and different. It looked really old, and then when I looked inside, there were spider webs in there. So I did not did not want to take a chance. I've heard stories of people buying things from the thrift store and then, they get bed bugs or roaches or something like that. So you really got to be careful. Now, this Salvation Army still has some Christmas stuff. That was a very busy wreath. Now, I was not considering buying it, but I just had to get a better look at it because it just had so much going on. Now, I do have some days where I go into the thrift store and it seems like there's just a lot of, I hate to say it, but just junk. And it looked like today was one of those days where it didn't look like the stock had been refreshed in a while. And a lot of the items really, in my opinion, looked like they had been picked over. Now, I do like notebooks and planners, so when I saw this little binder here, I had to open it up to make sure it wasn't something, you know, something that could have been sold for a profit, because some of those Franklin Covey planners do sell quite well. Now, here was a really fun little art piece. Look at how cute that little cat and that little bunny was. I wasn't sure if this was a vintage picture frame. Something about it didn't seem vintage to me, but I really thought that the picture was just adorable. This one was kind of fun too, although it did have a name on it. But again, that's not something that I would pick up to sell. And I was actually kind of surprised at how many photo frames they had that day. Now, this is something that I really enjoyed finding. This is some type of a tripod. Now, I think I have the camera in my hand, so I'm not able to kind of, like spread the legs out. But I saw the thing on the top and I knew that that was to screw on a camera or a light. And then it had a little leather case. And this looked really, really old. Like it looked like, it was something vintage. So I did end up grabbing that, and then I got distracted by that Beatles artwork poster that was behind it. Now, I did end up looking that up on eBay, and that was not a collectible piece. It was a reproduction of the original. I always check these little travel bags and sport bags and suitcase section because I have found some really fun Betsy Johnson bags over here. And depending on the condition and the style, Betsy Johnson sells really well. Oh, I think I've seen this train case here several times. That's why. That's why I didn't look at it close up. Now, this Salvation Army does have a pretty large shoe section. But I don't really sell shoes because for some reason they gross me out. I don't know. I'm kind of weird about, feet, and then I don't know. I think it's kind of unsanitary. I know it probably is weird, but that's just me. I really don't like selling used shoes or buying them, so I just don't. And the only thing I got on this trip was the tripod, and that was it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you like and subscribe. I'll check in with you again really soon.